Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. This is Dr. Rosmani Tasmin again. I'm now lecturing on chapter 5 titling Concept Generation for New Product Development. In this recent weeks, we have to deliver the lecture through FOC mode, which is full online class because of the prohibition to handle lecture in the big gatherings. So I have uploaded the material on the Edmodo platform for you to retrieve the PowerPoint material, and after having a look, perhaps you could follow my lecture with this video clip through YouTube channel. Okay, so if we look on a new product development concept, for example, iPhone. Okay, perhaps 10 or 15 years ago when iPhone introduced the smartphone, they introduced this kind of 5 or 6 inch diagonal size. So what is their main concept for their first introduction? Their main concept is that for the phone to be in the pocket size, which is pocketable size. So that's why this iPhone is designed in such way of this kind of size. However, after about 12 or 15 years later, suddenly users think that this kind of size is rather small. So they need a bigger size, or about double the size of this 5-inch diagonal. So in recent years, the new concept of smartphone called foldable smartphone is being introduced. So since user expectation for the smartphone usage has been significantly increasing due to the application become more complicated, and perhaps user need to reply email within the same device, or user need to edit some kind of graphic in order to be sent to their friends, so they need a bigger size screen. However, they still need to maintain the small pocketable size. So as such, even this is a bigger screen, after it is being folded down, again, it still can be kept inside your pocket of your shirts or your trousers. So again, this is what is all about concept generation, in which the product must be used to be best suited with the expectation of customer. So in recent years in the Malaysian market, if we take a look on the new product development in the segment of food, for example, this crackers product segment by Munchies, you can see a new product concept which is a more longer and slimmer size kind of product size for crackers. In this new concept, basically the slimmer and longer cracker size can be broken into two. In the center there is a partition breaking lines here, in which customer can break the crackers after the dipping. How this concept is being developed is perhaps partly due to the previous experience, users enjoying the crackers by having this bigger rectangular size. If you take a look on this size, actually this size of crackers cannot fit directly towards the mouth or the mouth of the teh tarik. So that's why the product concept is being introduced towards a slimmer and longer size. So concept generation is all about design, the perspective, the thinking of the product to best suit the customer usage and its application. That's all product concept generation. In the next chapter of the textbook, you are being presented on the nailing roof machine, or I would call it a nailing machine. Well, what is their main task? The main task of hammer and nail is basically to have your manual power or your hand to hammer down the hammer towards the nail, so that the nail can be pounded through the wooden material. So that is the basic job for hammer and nails. However, if you want to make it a more automated device, so we have this kind of cordless roofing nail by the brand name of BOSTITCH, which uses the multi-blow technology, and the concept is using DC motor power, direct current, and it can drive the nails from 1 inch to 1.5 nails length, and it is powered by nickel cadmium batteries, which require about 1 hour of charging, and it is weighing around 8 pounds. So this is another new product concept which is introduced by BOSTITCH. I also have uploaded the video clip by the brand name of DEWALT for cordless roofing nailer, in which you can have a look so that you can have the feel how the cordless roofing nail work. Another product concept which is executing the same job, which is to nail down the nail towards the medium, is called Makita cordless nail. However, Makita cordless nail, this as shown in this picture, is actually not using electric to power up the system. Rather, it uses the compressed air canister in order to deliver the punch to the nail and towards the wood. So this is another concept in which the same job can be done but using different power technology or using different concept of delivering the job to get done. So this is another second concept for the same nailing job. So in the concept development phase, we are here actually generating the best concept to be introduced for the development of our new product. So we have set target specification for the product in the previous chapter, and now we are discussing about how is the best concept to develop for a new product. So product concept is basically it's about the technology to be used to be embedded into the new product. It's an approximation of technology that is working for the that is working principle that basically drive the product. So normally there is a conceptual sketch for this model in the form of three-dimensional format, with a kind of brief description of how the product actually works. And this product concept is basically very important in order to ensure the success of the product to be introduced to the market, which is highly depending on customer usage, its quality, and also the product performance. If we take a look in the market, currently there are many successful product concepts. And those successful product concepts, basically, it must meet the customer needs, right? For example, user-friendly, easy to be kept at a pocketable size, and it must solve customer problem, right? And it must be sold at the correct price, which is, I would say, affordable to be bestseller, and it must be user-friendly. For example, like Sony Walkman, right? It is being sold at a affordable price, and during those days in 1970s, people would like to listen to music, right? So instead of having the big bulky stereo radio they bring around, so they just put the headphones to their heads and they can listen or enjoy their music. And another product concept which is successful in the past few decades is Apple Macintosh, in which the biggest concept that making it successful, it is based on its graphical user interface, GUI. and it is driven by mouse, which is point and click, right? And another concept which is successful by Apple computers is Apple computer thin design, which is shown like this. So it is light, easy to be brought around, easy to be it is portable. So that's why this kind of concept is actually important to ensure product design and product to be success in the market. Not all product concepts successful. There are also a few examples of failure in the new product concept. Okay, so one example is new Diet Coke. Right, so new Diet Coke, when it is being introduced, is considered a failure because it is related to customer taste, and it is very hard for customer to change their taste. And when they introduce the new Coke, customer resist for this kind of new taste, and as such, they need to recall the product. So this is another example of failing concept, which is not meeting the customer expectation. Another failure product concept is what they call as Ford Pinto. During 1960s and 70s, the concept which is being emphasized is basically a car which is using less fuel or fuel-saving car. As such, Ford, which is already highly known to develop a big size car, and suddenly they try to design Ford Pinto in the form of smaller size car. However, this car, even though it is small, but it doesn't meet the safety requirement, in which it is prone to catch fire when it involved in the accident, especially if it is involved accident hitting from the back. So the car easily caught fire and got burned. So this is another failing concept of a new Ford Pinto. So there are other concepts in which I need not to explain everything. So you could explore in the form of Harley Davidson perfume. So it is also another failure of a new product concept. So why it fails, we must study so that we can design a new product which is successful in the market. So there are 5 steps basically how to execute or produce new product concept for our new product development. First, we have to understand the problem, clarify the problem related to the new product that you want to develop. So in order to clarify the problems, you have 2 ways to solve your problem. Okay, first, you could resolve the problem by searching ideas or ways and method externally. For example, you could interview lead user or major users which are using the product, or you could approach expert in order to give expert advice, or you could search patent in the patent office in order to find that relevant patent is available for you to develop the new product, and it is not necessarily you start from scratch. And you could study also literature out there pertaining to the new product you want to develop, and you could also compare your newly developed product with the existing best product in the market, which is benchmarking. Or you could search idea to solve the problem internally in the form of having internal discussion, brainstorming with your engineer or other design people in your company. You could have an individual discussion, or you could have a group discussion within the internal company. And when you have found a new concept or an existing concept, then you explore systematically in the form of a classification tree or combination table, which concept is mostly suitable to develop in terms of cost, feasibility, and product success. and then you come up with the integrated solution in order to solve the problem and producing the newly designed product. So these are the 5-step concept generation method in order to develop a new product related to this course. So I stop here to end this chapter 5 for part 1. We take a short break and later we continue for the second part. As I stated earlier, first we have to clarify the problem, or the problem of how to develop the new product. So what kind of product you want to develop to solve the problem, right? In this case, instead of nailing down the nail by using your hand manually, so we need to design or to produce a machine which can automate the nailing job. So first we have to clarify the problem, which is consisting of developing a general understanding and break down the problem into sub-problems. For example, a nailer. So what kind of the construct that you need to have in order to perform a nailing job. So as such, you could have designed a better roofing nailer or better nailing machine, for example. So then we have to decompose the complex problems of producing roofing nailer by looking into the components of each of the complex problem. For example, in the course of solving the problem in designing a new nailing machine, we have to treat the machine or the product in the form of a black box. For example, these are the black box that you want to solve the problem. This black box is actually to design or develop a new handheld nailer or nailing machine. And each device or product, normally it has input and it also has output, right? So for the device to work, you need to have energy. What energy that drives the nailing machine or the roof nailer? So is it by electric, or is it by like that Makita compressed air canister? What material or raw material it used to serve as input, for example, the nail itself, and what sort of processing signal it will give the user to let know that the machine is working properly, or the machine requires some servicing, or machine requires some kind of repair. So here are all the black box. All this energy, material and signal is expected to serve as input towards the black box. And this black box will be the new roofing nailer that you want to produce, and the output is in the form of how do they punch the nail towards the medium, and how the material or the nail will be driven in, and what sort of signal control that the device must have in order to tell customer its status. Now, we take a look on the subcomponent of this black box in the form of sub-functions. For example, for the energy to push the nail down, so you need to have a form of energy that could store or accept the external force. For example, in the form of like spring or any form of energy storage, right? And then you need to have, you need to convert the energy from, for example, the electric energy towards the motion energy. Right? For example, convert energy to translational energy. Right? For example, electric towards kinetic energy, and apply this translational energy towards the nail, and the nail make a move, and it will drive the nail down towards the wooden media. These are the flow for energy supply input, and then it is being processed here, and it is driven. It is driving nail down towards the wood, and it is served as an output. So here, what are the materials needed in order to nail down the nail towards the wood? First, well, of course, you have to keep the nail at certain kind of arrangement. They call it nail storage, be it inside the bracket or be it inside kind of vertical arrangement. So after you store the nail here, so you need to isolate the nail piece by piece. Of course, you don't want to punch 2 nails at one shot. So the nail must be delivered serially, one by one. And the nails will come into contact toward the kinetic energy and giving result that the nail being driven in. And you need to have some sense of control on your device. This is what they call trip of tool. Be it is green, which is ready to use, be it yellow, perhaps it needs some servicing, be it red, it means that the machine is broken or not functioning. So this sense strip will send the trigger tool in order to ensure that the machine can work properly and the kinetic energy can help to drive the nail towards the wood. That is the first part, which is clarify the problem, how you want to take a look on the bigger problem with its smaller subcomponent. Step 2 is actually how do you want to solve the problem. There are many sources of ways and methods to solve the problem. Example, this problem perhaps has been solved earlier by other manufacturer or by other engineer or by other inventor. As such, you could search externally, particularly at the patent office, to find the process or to find a similar product to deliver the same job. Or you could interview the lead user, for example, the building contractor or the house builder who build house that frequently using roofing nailer. Or you could also consult some expert related to roofing nailer. For example, a product engineer who has developed roofing nailer earlier. Or you could search to solve your problem through searching for patents at patent office. Either it is at my IPO office, Malaysian Patent Office, or US Patent Office. Perhaps there are ways and methods that inventor have developed earlier so that you can partially use the solution to solve your problem. Or you could read some reports, a white paper pertaining to methods of solving your problem. Or you could compare the ways and means how to develop your product by looking at the existing product which is available at the market. So we call this, of course, benchmarking. So just now I highlighted on patent. So what is patent? Patent normally is a kind of rights, or it is kind of property by inventor who has invented certain process or certain product that is quite similar for the product that you want to develop. So you could refer as patent. This patent is normally owned by the inventor, and it is patented at a patent or trademark office in any particular country, so that within the same process or the same product, actually others cannot imitate. So this is one way to protect the first inventor from unnecessarily later copier. So what is patent? Once you file your product patent, normally you are having privilege for about 20 years to have the right on your patent. So within that 20 years, if other inventor want to develop the same product, actually they can apply for permission to use your patent by paying some royalty. So these are the advantage of patent. It means that who invented and filed it first, they have the right to develop that product in that kind of way, in that kind of process for about 20 years. If you don't want to search for patterns, then you could clarify your problem to develop the new product by searching internally or within your own organization or within your own staff, within your own employees. So in this way, normally to solve the problem, you call a session of meeting, and we call it storming. We call it brainstorming. And this type of search is considered internal, in which you are dealing with the internal designer, internal electrical engineer or electrical product designer, in order to come up with method and technique to solve the problem in order to produce a new product. So this is another way of solving your problem, to clarify the problem in order to generate a lot of ideas from your own colleagues. And some ideas might be relevant, some idea might be sounds crazy, but at least that is one way of to solve the problem internally. Tips to generate solution from the concept. Here are some methods how you could generate ideas in order to produce your new product. So one way you could make some analogy, which is you compare your intended newly developed product with the same device to deliver the same job. Or you could come up with like a wonder list, what you wish the product could deliver the job for. Or you could set certain quantitative goal, or you could use stimuli in order to generate new ideas during your kind of brainstorming. Now, after searching externally and internally, you by that time have some sort of ideas how to approach to produce your newly suggested product. For example, for this nailer roofing machine, there are few suggested solution in order to deliver the punch or what sort of technology to use. For example, you may use, for example, fuel air combustion, or you may use gunpowder. These are some of the crazy ideas given by your members during the brainstorming or during your search. Or you could use, for example, solar electric cell. So these are a few options that you could consider. However, you have to decide what is the best mechanism to design and produce your roofing nailer. Whether it is a single impact, for example, single punch for the nail, or you want to deliver multiple punch like pump, 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 right? So like this, triple punch, one punch, second punch, third punch, or is it a single punch to drive the nail in? Or you could have like a multiple impact like this, a few punch until the nail gang in, or merely you could like just a single push, like a hydraulic system in which it pushes until the nail fully inserted, or you could have some sort of like a twist push, right? So these are part of the applying the kinetic energy so that the nailer could punch the nail towards the wood. In what way you could store the energy that you accept from the source? For example, is it by chemical, or is it by, for example, pneumatic, right? Or compressed air, which is called pneumatics, or is it by hydraulic, by a compressed oil, or is it by electrical, AC or DC, or even fuel cell? So these are ways and methods to explore systematically on what sort of technology power you need to drive your newly developed nailing machine. Here are a few options or choices you could choose to punch, deliver the technology to punch the nail. For example, you may use a linear motor, right? So AC motor, or you may use solenoid in order to release the motion to the spring, and the spring release its energy and deliver multiple impacts towards the nail in order to punch towards the wood. So these are several options that could use. Either you use moving mass, like a moving weight or spring, to push the nail, single impact or multiple impact, or to slowly push the nail inward towards the wood. So here are a few options. So say we take a look on the single blow solution for the nailer, right? So you may be able to use rotary motor with transmission and then pass it to the spring, and the spring release its capped internal power towards the single impact. For example, like this, the motor is unwinding the spring upward, and later the spring is being capped the power internally, and with a release of a latch, the spring is unsprung and it will deliver the punch toward the cam, and the cam will deliver the punch towards the nail, and the nail goes inward towards the wood. Or you could consider for multiple impact nailer in which few punch to the nail so that the nail will go into the wood. For example, use rotary motor transmission like this. The motor will rotate and the spring will be kept inward towards this to keep the energy, and later the spring releases energy with this latch, and multiple impact is delivered to the nail with first punch, second punch, and third punch. So there is another concept how to deliver the roofing nailer machine. Or you could consider using a single impact with linear motor. For example, you use a linear motor like this. This is a linear motor, and there is a moving mass, right? Moving mass, which is a moving weight, and that weight is being moved to deliver single impact towards the nail, and the nail being deliver punch towards the wood. So this is also another concept to deliver the same job, to punch the nail towards the wood with single impact by using linear motor. So after you have consolidated your concept, then you design the outlook of the product in the form of perhaps AutoCAD design, and here is the side view of the roofing nailer, the top view and the front view. And this is also another view of a product like a chair with a bench with its front. This is how you look from the front, this from the side, and this from the top, and this is if you take a look from the cross section. Okay class, I think I have highlighted to you what it takes to develop a concept for your new product development. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for seeing my video in the YouTube platform. By that, that's all for chapter 5. Thank you again.